The sky above Iran changed in an instant. No buildup, no warning. One moment it was normal. The next, long, luminous trails tore across the night, slicing the darkness from one horizon to the other. People froze. Traffic slowed. Phones came out immediately. Videos started rolling before anyone could process what they were witnessing. For several tense minutes, a single thought consumed everything. This is an attack. That fear was logical. Iran is already operating under maximum military readiness. Tensions with Israel and the United States are no longer abstract. They are active, visible, and intensifying. Air defense batteries are engaged. Radar operators are on constant watch. Right now, any unexplained object in Iranian airspace is treated as a potential hostile act. So when those streaks crossed the sky, many assumed the worst. Missiles, incoming, from outside the country. Messages spread instantly. Clips flooded social platforms. Speculation spiraled out of control. People replayed the footage again and again, chasing a single answer. Has war already begun? Hours later, another explanation surfaced. This was not a foreign strike. It was a missile test conducted by Iran itself. But instead of calming fears, that explanation deepened them. Because the next question was far more unsettling. What kind of missile was it? Iran gave no advance notice. There was no official statement, no data on range, speed, or intent. And when Iran chooses silence, analysts lean in closer. Within Iran, military observers and insiders began circulating a claim that sent shockwaves far beyond the region. The missile tested may belong to the intercontinental ballistic missile class. This is not a regional system. This is not designed for nearby adversaries. An ICBM is a strategic weapon. Its purpose is distance. Its purpose is deterrence on a global scale. Some estimates tied to the launch suggested a potential range approaching 12,000 kilometers. If that figure is even partially accurate, the implications are enormous. A missile launched from Iranian territory with that capability could reach parts of Europe and potentially the United States in roughly 20 to 25 minutes. That leaves almost no margin for response, no room for diplomacy, no time for de-escalation calls, only detection and immediate crisis decisions. And this is where the situation becomes even more serious. This claim did not appear in isolation. Only recently, Iranian members of parliament openly stated that Iran possesses the capability to strike U.S. territory directly if provoked. At the time, many outside Iran dismissed the remarks as political signaling, psychological pressure, domestic rhetoric. Now, after this test, those statements sound different. They no longer feel theoretical, they feel preparatory. Timing matters. Iran has already demonstrated advanced missile capability during recent regional conflicts. Those were not trials, they were operational launches. The systems meant to be tested were already proven under real conditions. So why conduct another test? Why now? That question matters more than the launch itself. Iran does not test missiles casually, especially under intense global surveillance. Every launch is tracked instantly by satellites, radar networks, and intelligence agencies. If this were routine, it would have happened quietly at another time. If it were purely technical, documentation would have followed. Instead, Iran chose ambiguity, and ambiguity is not weakness, it is leverage. Iran has a long history of withholding confirmation when it wants uncertainty to grow. When major events occur domestically, official acknowledgement often comes late or not at all. This forces rivals into guesswork, worst-case calculations, preparations for scenarios that may never be publicly confirmed. We have seen this pattern before. Recently, satellite imagery released by China showed unusual concentrations of military assets across the region. Iran offered no official response. At the same time, reports surfaced of building collapses in multiple Iranian cities. Casualties were rumored, injuries were mentioned. Again, no detailed explanation. This approach keeps adversaries unsettled, always reacting, never certain. Now that same strategy appears to be applied to a missile test that could reshape global deterrence assessments. Because here is the reality. If Iran officially confirms the successful testing of an intercontinental ballistic missile, the consequences will not begin with explosions. They will begin with markets. The moment such confirmation becomes public and U.S. financial markets open, volatility becomes unavoidable. Not because war is certain, but because uncertainty drives behavior, and uncertainty is already everywhere. Global markets are unstable. Gold swings violently, silver surges, then collapses. Large investors quietly shift capital across borders. Even institutions managing billions are unsure where safety truly exists. Introduce the possibility of a new ICBM-capable power into that environment, and anxiety accelerates. European governments would reassess strategic exposure immediately, particularly those whose gold reserves are stored abroad. Investment firms would reconsider risk positions, insurance markets would react, defense analysts would rewrite threat models overnight. This is how pressure builds before conflict, not with detonations, with fear. And that's why this test matters so deeply. It was not announced, it was not celebrated, it was not explained. It was revealed indirectly, through civilian footage, confusion, and unanswered questions. Meanwhile, Israel and the United States are not speculating casually, they are watching closely. Military analysts in both countries are openly questioning what was tested and whether it signals a doctrinal shift. Intelligence teams are likely running continuous simulations, not to predict war, but to prepare for failure scenarios. Because once a new capability is suspected, planning changes instantly. That brings us to the next phase. U.S. military assets across the region are not repositioning randomly. Bombers, refueling aircraft, missile defense systems, naval forces, all moving with precision. Satellite imagery shows increased deployments at key bases. This is not coincidence. This is contingency planning. And when contingency planning meets strategic silence, the risk of miscalculation rises sharply. If the missile test was a signal, the next steps will not be speeches or press releases. They will be alerts, deployments, red lines. And once red lines are crossed, intentionally or not, reversing course becomes extremely difficult. Attention then shifted rapidly from the sky to the sea. Because missiles are only part of the equation, the real danger lies where everything converges, the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow passage is not just a shipping route, it's the most critical choke point in the global energy system. Nearly 20% of the world's oil passes through it every single day. Iran doesn't need to defeat the US Navy to cause global disruption, it only needs to interfere with the strait. This is where US military planners grow uneasy. For decades, aircraft carriers symbolized dominance, floating fortresses, untouchable assets. Modern warfare has altered that assumption. Iran understands this. It has invested heavily in asymmetric strategies, not to win outright, but to make victory prohibitively expensive for its adversaries. The most dangerous element of that strategy lies underwater. Western intelligence agencies have long warned about Iran's submerged missile tunnel networks. These are not basic installations. They are reinforced, concealed launch complexes embedded in coastal terrain, protected from airstrikes, connected to underground infrastructure, positioned close enough to strike with minimal warning. From these sites, Iran can deploy anti-ship cruise missiles, short and medium-range ballistic systems, and drones launched from unpredictable vectors. Here is the central problem. An aircraft carrier group is powerful, but it is also visible. Satellites track it, radar tracks it, civilian shipping sometimes observes it. In modern warfare, visibility equals vulnerability. If Iran wanted to send a message without initiating full-scale war, it would not need to target the carrier itself. Disrupting the surrounding environment would be sufficient. Mining sea lanes, disabling commercial shipping, forcing insurers to withdraw coverage. Once insurance stops, shipping halts, oil flow freezes, prices don't creep upward, they spike. This is not hypothetical. It has happened before on smaller scales. Every time tensions rise in Hormuz, markets react instantly, even without shots fired. Now combine that with fears of long-range missile capability. This is why U.S. naval movements matter so much right now. Multiple reports indicate assets repositioning not for offense but for defense, interception, early warning, rapid response. That tells us something critical. This is not about striking first, it's about preventing surprise. Because surprise is Iran's strongest weapon. Iran doesn't need declarations, it doesn't need announcements. It can apply pressure gradually, economically, psychologically. If you want clear thinking in a world driven by fear, real history instead of headlines, and financial stories that explain why, not just what, you're in the right place. This is The Financial Story. Subscribe and learn how money really moved the world.